Good evening, guys. It's Sap back again with another peculiar meth head from Florida, of course. All the interesting stories come from Florida, and again, the reason why is because Florida has public arrest records. So anybody can look up the stories, and of course, the most insane peculiar meth head stories I just reviewed: a Florida man pleasuring himself with a pickle rectally on private property. Very peculiar. Oh, wait, my shooting stars crashed. Yeah. But the point is, if you have public arrest records, the media will, of course, search the most interesting stories, and people as well, personally, because that's entertaining. And on the others, in the other states of the USA, there will also be peculiar meth head stories, but they're not publicly available, and that's why they never get media attention. But let me read this. Oh, I didn't realize that the headline wasn't even in the fucking picture. But let me read this peculiar meth head story of a Florida man who... Let me read the headline. Oh, I'm fucking god, I can't select this. Yeah. Man bites head of pet python during fight with woman. So this is actually, I gotta be, give credit where credit is due if you're going to fight a pet python. And I don't know how big, of course, because it was a pet. The python wouldn't have been like what they can become. I think a pet python can become like 6 meters. And of course, triggered Americans will not understand. I don't know how many feet that is, but very fucking long. Like a grown adult python can become huge, but the pet, of course, is not going to be that big. So I don't think this man has actually bitten off the head of an adult python. Otherwise, he would be an unbelievable meth head warrior. But let me read the rest of the article. Justin Mayorga, the fuck is that name, is accused of biting the head of a woman's pet ball python. So I don't know what a ball is. Is he talking about a fucking pokeball? What's going on? A man allegedly bit the head off the pet python of a woman he was having a dispute with. So again, I gotta wonder, like, this scar on his face, this wound, is that because of the pet python retaliating? Could be the case, because pythons don't have poison, right? They just strangle their prey to death. Just like an MMA fighter, I guess. Or Khabib to Conor McGregor. That's what a python does, right? The chokehold. But yeah, of course, the pet python, again, would not have been that large to be able to win from this fucking Florida man, especially, of course, methed up. It's unbeatable. It's like indestructible. Justin Mayorga, 22. He's only fucking 22. This Wenga is only 22 years old. I see this all the time. The people who get arrested, for like peculiar crimes, they look so much older than they really are. And it's because not only because of the substances which age your body, it's usually there's something with criminals always looking older than they actually are, especially below 30. So when you have somebody, there was one guy who stuffed 52 $20 bills in his rectum, and also cocaine and heroin. He stuffed it all up there after already getting arrested. Very smart. Definitely, like, it did few, the what is called, the dollar notes actually fell out of his fucking asshole when he was at jail, about to go into jail. But the point is, he was like 20 years old and he looked 35. There's always something going on with people being that much, actually looking way older than they actually are. Police officers who responded to a domestic dispute at an apartment complex on Southwest 210th Street could hear a man and a woman arguing. Yes, that's a classic, but usually not biting the head off a pet python. According to an arrest report obtained by NBC Miami, the woman was heard shouting to the cops, "Just kick the door in." Okay, it's not the first time she said that, probably. As the officers tried to break in, Mayorga could be seen running to the door to stop them from getting in and holding the woman down. The suspect has been charged with animal cruelty after allegedly biting a snake's head off. Like, it's pretty fucking... I mean, again, I hope the article will mention, was it actually indeed crystal methamphetamine? Was it flakka? Was it crocodile? Or was it green tea? Whatever the fuck it was, how could you get to the point where you're deciding, when the cops are already there, you're having an argument with a woman, the cops are already there, and then what you decide to do is take a pet snake, python, and just bite the head off. Unless he was hungry and wanted to make bat soup, but this case, python had snake soup as the vaccine for the China virus, as Mr. Orange Man would call it. But speaking of, by the way, Mr. Orange Man, he can't say shit right now because he has a judge-ordered gag order. So he's like, has actually shut his fucking mouth on anything that has to do with the trial or anything somewhat related to that, which might also mean bat soup. So I don't know. Maybe snakehead soup, he's allowed to say, but the cops demanded that Mayorga show his hands and step outside, but he refused. They then tased him, but the move did not affect him. Okay, so this is seriously the ultimate evidence that it was actually meth or another stimulant. The reason why is, this is seriously true. You can look it up. There's actually a name for it. It's called excited delirium. And that's what happens when people are on heavy doses of really potent stimulants like methamphetamine. That there's been recorded many times that if they get tased, the taser doesn't actually do anything for them because their body is so fucking cranked on epinephrine, aka adrenaline in Europe. In America, it's called epinephrine. And you also have norepinephrine, noradrenaline in the brain. But because of the stimulants, they massively increase dopamine and noradrenaline or norepinephrine. And so the taser, if it doesn't actually work, you almost know for certain that the bloke is on a heavy dose of adrenaline, aka a stimulant like meth. Or the snake venom, because this is also true. You can look it up. I've done a video on this before. There's some people that legit use snake venom to get high. Like, I'm not even fucking joking. And seriously, snake venom could get you high. And there's people doing it. Of course, it's very dangerous, especially if you take too much and you don't have an antidote. And the antidote in that case might be using a pickle to insert it rectally, like the previous Florida man we reviewed, about the guy who was on breaking into a private property, trespassing, whipped out a pickle and inserted, yes, in a dark hole, which Logan Paul is very familiar with, inserting pickles in his rectum. But the point I'm trying to make is, yes, there are people getting high on snake venom, and finally, if you have that much cranking of adrenaline from the stimulants, the taser will not work on people, or not as effectively as they normally would. So, the cops demanded that Mayorga show his hands and step outside, but he refused. They then tased him, but the move did not affect him. It's like not very effective in Pokemon, the move, the taser. When one officer tried to get Mayorga out, the suspect swung at the cop and hit him with a handcuff. It's unbelievable that... Oh, again, I gotta click my mining character. Yes, I already got 34k mining XP today, but shooting stars are going to get nerfed anyway. Fuck you, Jagex, but let me continue reading. Cops eventually managed to arrest Mayorga after already getting hit by a handcuff when he was swinging it. And I'm wondering, by the way, at this point, did he already bite the head of the snake off yet? Did he already fucking behead the pet python? Like French knobheads would say, with the guillotine, right? What they used in 1600, 1700, somewhere around that age. The guillotine, where you would put your head like this and then get beheaded. Oh, fuck, that was actually way too hard. I almost got close to beheading myself. That would be content, by the way. If I did that live and the video somehow did not get age restricted or get taken off of YouTube, I would finally get some views on my channel. Or, again, pleasuring rectally with a pickle. But that's not what I'm going to do, but that's the news article I already reviewed. Hopefully that will get some views. Inside the apartment, officers found a snake next to the door that had been beheaded. Okay, so I guess that he already had bitten off the head of the python snake before the cops arrived. That's what I'm guessing. The woman told the cops that the Mayorga bit the head off her ball python. What the fuck is a ball python? I know what a python is, but you talk about a mating ball, pokeball, master ball python? According to the report. The relationship between Mayorga and the woman was not immediately clear. What looks like an amazing relationship if you're just casually biting off the head of your pet snake on a Monday night. I don't know if it was Monday, but it seems like it wasn't the weekend, probably. Otherwise, he would have probably been drinking and a little bit more relaxed. Or maybe he would get to the psyche of Shoe Nice after drinking. Then he definitely would have bitten off the snake's head again when he was drinking. If you know Shoe Nice, you know. Lovely bloke, eating cat litter, glue, eating fucking anything you can request him to eat. He doesn't do requests anymore, but he used to eat any fucking shit. Literal shit as well, yes. That's his diet every day for money. Mayorga has been charged with animal cruelty, false imprisonment, and resisting an officer with violence. What the fuck is false? Serious question. Oi, what is false imprisonment? Are you voluntarily, you yourself deciding, I'm gonna step into prison? Because that's false imprisonment. I don't understand how that could be a charge. I don't know. And resisting an officer with violence. He was booked into jail and appeared in court on Tuesday. Tuesday, innit? His bond was set at 15k and he was assigned a public defender. So, again, like, what is it with the bonds that sometimes people will get for minor crimes, such as tax evasion, which is nothing to do with violence? Some people get a massive bond, and sometimes you have somebody who killed 3 people and they get a bond of like 100k. Where if there's 3 first-degree murders, not in-game, not on Roblox, but actually in real life, or pleasuring yourself with a pickle on private property, rectally, like the previous bloke we discussed, they either get like a very weak bond on those severe crimes, and then on this, it is also somewhat of a weak bond, but then somebody who hasn't paid his taxes for like 2 days after not paying, or even if it's years, they get like a massive bond. Even though who the fuck cares if somebody didn't pay their taxes and is walking on the street? I mean, that's not a danger to society, of course. The officer who was struck by the handcuffs suffered an abrasion as well as swelling. Yeah, and as well as having to tell your fellow colleagues that you got swung with the handcuffs by a man who bite off the head of a python. That's even more embarrassing. And the taser didn't work because he was so fucking muffed up. Average day in Florida. It is not the first instance recently of a man biting a snake. In August 2021, a tribal man, yeah, that's what he was doing for dinner. That's a different case. In a remote village in the Indian state of Odisha, reportedly bit a snake to death after the animal bit him. Sigma Grind said warrior. Again, if you look, that's not... He was already provoked by the snake because the snake bit him first and then he bit the snake to death. That's not something unusual. Well, it's somewhat unusual that you use your teeth to kill the snake, but it's not, something weird that you wouldn't expect if the snake was biting you first, bite back. For like, what the fuck? I mean, that's not peculiar, but this wanker from Florida bit the snake first for no reason and bite the head of pet python because his girlfriend didn't give him maybe some dirty stuff, but probably some other type of argument or whatever was going on, and then he decided to bite the head of her pet snake. That's a different case. But thank you for watching this video.